Alright, so we're going to make a regular pizza, but I've done that before. So we're going to do a white pizza as well. I'm going to show you how to do that in a second. So on the white pizza, there's going to be organic cherry tomatoes. They are store-bought, but I am growing my own. That's organic green onion. I'm growing my own, but that's store-bought. This is my homegrown indoor basil. And this is the bread flour, non-GMO artisan bread flour. It's not gluten-free. So get whatever bread flour you can get if you need gluten-free. And then they make between 2 and 4 depending on the size. Let's just say if you make the size of this, then they'll probably make 2, maybe 3. And that's 1.5 cups of flour. You really don't need to know the flour. You just need to know that 1.5 cups of flour will give you about 2 to 3 good size ones. So if you have a family of more, let's say you have a family of 4, then you're going to want to do at least 3 cups of flour. Now, let me see if I can do this one hand. So you want it like, sort of like pancake batter, like that. A little bit wet. So all you do for the pizzas, now you can do this bread any way you want, but for the pizzas, what I found goes the best and makes a good pizza crust is a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of sea salt, a little bit of black pepper, and I didn't use fresh oregano. I did last time. It came out pretty good, but the dry oregano actually works better and gives it a pizza crust-like taste. So, you know, do the salt, pepper, and oregano to your taste. The olive oil is just like a drizzle. You don't even have to use it if you don't want. And then get it to this consistency. Oh, and you know what? A little bit of baking powder. I just shake a little bit on, probably like a half a teaspoon. Yeah, probably about a half a teaspoon, quarter of a teaspoon at the most, maybe. And then you get it to that kind of consistency. Warm your pan up, and then you're going to put it in the pan. Now, I'm not going to make it this time, but I want to show you. This makes great chicken. So shred this up, drain it, shred it up. I already did a white pizza on a tortilla, so I'm not going to have that on a video right now, although I could because it's flatbread. I just don't feel like eating it tonight. Drain this, shred this up, throw it in the pan ahead of time with some olive oil, salt, pepper. Use oregano or some kind of Italian seasonings would work best. You can use other seasonings if you want to make a different style pizza than the basil. And, you know, if you made a tropical pizza, let's say, with this and that, and then you change that to like cilantro, or you use some kind of like tropical spices or something. Just season the chicken how you want. Just shred it up and, you know, warm it up, crisp it up if you want. I leave mine like partly crisp, partly like nice and tender. And then you can place that on your white pizza or your regular pizza. It works excellent. And it tastes like the real thing. It tastes like chicken. It has the consistency. It even looks like chicken. All right? So that's it. All right. Came over just in time. My sauce is starting to boil. Bubble a little bit. So in the food processor, there are some diced tomatoes. Again, they were non-GMO. What else? Salt, pepper, garlic, and fresh basil from my house that I just told you about. Right, so garlic, basil, salt, pepper, olive oil, a can of diced tomatoes. You can use your own tomatoes if you have them, or whatever you want. Mine aren't grown yet, so that's what I'm using. And let me just lower that almost to nothing and put it back on the stove. So I'll warm the sauce up. The bread thing is ready to go. And once this is put in the pan, probably do about 3 minutes per side, and then another 3 minutes per side. You're looking at like, I don't know, 6 to 10 minutes total, you know, depending on how thick. Like I'm going to make mine about that thick, like 1/8 to 1/4 inch thick. You can make it thin, you can make it thicker. If you want to make it thin, like real thin, then water your batter a little bit more so it pours out a little bit more. When it's the consistency that I have, it's going to be hard to get it thin. So it's going to be thick. And if mine come out to be about a 1/2 inch, I don't even care. And what we're going to do is, I'll show you the vegan cheese in a minute and how to make that. Again, and that's in the food processor. Boom, boom, food processor, and it's done. Once this gets hot, I put it on like 4 to 5. And then once it gets hot, that will go in the pan and get ready. And then I get the sauce ready ahead of time, because once this is done, I throw the cheese on, then a little bit of sauce, and then cheese again. But what I'm going to do first, because I want this video out there for people who might like it, is I'm going to do the cheese and put all that stuff on it, and then maybe put a top on there and see how that thing melts up. I did a quesadilla with it. Came out fabulous. First time I did a quesadilla. So you do the pizza right in the pan. If you want, you could throw it in the oven, but I've done it in the pan a few times. Comes out excellent. All right, so there's actually 4, but I used one already, so that's why you're seeing 3. I do molds. I'll show you the molds real quick. Just so happens that the recipe fit my molds perfect. Boom, you can do whatever you want. If you have molds or if you have just a Tupperware like this, whatever you want. I make mine like this, comes out great and easy to slice for cheese. I'll cut it up ahead of time to show you. So here's how you do it. You get yourself a blender. You get yourself 15 ounces of non-dairy milk or whatever choice you want. I used almond milk. And then you do agar. Let me show you. All right, so this is what you'll need to make this. Now you can do your vegan cheese any way you want. If you take what I'm showing you and yours and combine it, whatever. But I'm going to show you how I do it so easy. So get yourself this Now Real Foods brand agar. It's a red algae gelatin. What's it called? Non-GMO red algae for gelatin, and it's vegan, obviously. ThriveMarket.com. This vegan Parmesan cheese is excellent, and if it doesn't show, then you can go on and check it out. So that's what it's made out of. All right. So you get your 15 ounces of almond milk or whatever non-dairy milk. Throw it in a blender. Add 1.5 tablespoons of this. Add anywhere from 3 to 4. You probably want to start with 4. You'll never want to go above 4. 3 might be a little less cheesy and a little bit light, so you might want to do 4 the first time around, because it will taste a little different after it's made. And as you can see, it's like a wet mozzarella, Parmesan-y type flavor. It's really good. So 3 to 4 tablespoons, 1.5 tablespoons in the blender with your 15 ounces of non-dairy milk, a little bit of drizzle of olive oil, salt and pepper to your taste. Now, that is for making your cheese. You can do this cheese other ways. I have done fruit in it. I had raspberry jelly in it. I have put basil and red bell peppers in it, both fresh and roasted red bell peppers. I put black cherries in it. Whatever you want, spices, herbs, it comes out awesome. This is just a recipe for a salted, slightly peppered cheese that you can make in quesadillas, on top of salads and wraps, and for your pizza. All right? And you blend it all up. Just blend it up for like a minute or 2 and give it a taste. Then you can decide if you needed to add more cheese or salt or pepper. And then what you're going to do is, in a pan with a whisk, get it on 4 or 5, and you're going to whisk it. And you're going to do it for 7 to 10 minutes, and make sure you keep stirring it. It will just bubble. You don't want it to splash. You want it to slightly just bubble and goo until it turns almost to like the batter that you saw. It will be a little bit more watery than that, but it will be like the batter of the bread, like a cheesy, gooey stuff. And that means that you activated the agar stuff, because it has to be activated. And once you see that, 5 to 10 minutes, you're fine. Let it cool, mix it a little, and pour it in your mold or molds. Let it sit on the counter for like 5 minutes, and then put it in the fridge. And within 20 minutes, it will be cold, and you got cheese. And that's it. It's simple. Oh, and you know what? I lied. There's something else. This makes it melt easier. Let me show you just so you can see it. So without this, it will melt, but not as good. You got to kind of push it down with your finger or a spoon. With this, it melts kind of on its own. I just kind of guess it. I would say I put in about 1.5 teaspoons of this, maybe. That's what I did. And that will help it melt. All right, so I'm going to cut this up and get it ready and get my bread going in the thing and make a nice flatbread pizza. All right, so you can see the size of that. And there's, like I said, 1.25, 1.5 probably left. What I do is I take the 2 spoons. I take the 1 spoon and I dip it in there, and then really quickly I take another spoon in my other hand. I kind of spread it out, because when it's thicker like this, kind of see it. It will pop up. It will be a little bit thicker. You don't want it to be like one lump, so you kind of help spread it out with 2 spoons. Again, if you want it thinner, just make a little more water in it, and then it will be easy. All right. I've used these while I got you on here. I've done it with onion and bell pepper. I've done it with garlic. I've done it with garlic and onion. I've done it with the shaker cheese in it. I've done it with sage is awesome. Rosemary is awesome in there. Basil I didn't like that much in there. What else did I do? Rosemary and sage were awesome. The pepper. Oh, I did tomatoes, onion, garlic, and I think red bell pepper or something like that. Oh, it was so awesome. It's like garlic naan, and you can rip it, like, as long as you don't crisp it up too hard, like I'm gonna do with the pizza a little bit. You can rip it, you can fold it. You know, it's really awesome. And like I said, do whatever you want with it. And you know what? I've even made a sweetbread with it where I did like cinnamon and sugar, and you know, obviously none of the other stuff in there. And it came out really good because it wasn't really like pancake, it was like bread, but it was like an in-betweener. It was really good. So that's how I got mine cut. That should be enough. I want to cover the whole bread. See what happens. You know, I was thinking too, I made the quesadilla with a tortilla a few nights ago, and I'm thinking, man, on a flatbread, because this bread is so awesome. I'm thinking of like making a nice flatbread, filling it with cheese and tomatoes, everything I got here, and who knows whatever else, and then folding it over and trying a quesadilla like that. It would be like almost like a, you know, like a sandwich, a pressed sandwich or whatever they call those things. So yeah, so that's how I got it going. You can do whatever you want. So it's been about 3 minutes, and you can see how it raised up. I'll give it another minute or so, and then I'll flip it over. I'm gonna take you on a quick tour. So, oregano, cilantro, the basil's been cut so many times it's flowering now. Some mini bell peppers over there, a whole bunch of strawberries, another bell pepper. Not sure if it's a mini or a regular size. I'll have them go in orange and yellow and red. Some tomatoes, organic Roma tomatoes. I think they're non-GMO as well. And let's see, Brussels sprouts, which are kind of hard to grow. They start off really good, and then they look crappy. And then they don't need a lot of water. Then all of a sudden they start to go, and then they got to water them. Outside they do real well. There's some sage that's been cut a whole bunch of times for that bread. Here's some celery. And oh, I was supposed to get this for my salad tonight. Maybe I'll cut one of these. So a whole bunch of lettuces, 2 different kinds of romaine. So sometimes the radishes, you can eat radish greens, by the way. Sometimes the radish greens grow huge, like these 2 guys over here. Sometimes not. But indoors, I found a lot of times, almost probably 3 out of 4 times, they grow like this long skinny thing, not even carrot-like. And then sometimes they grow in between, and then sometimes they grow normal. And they're put at the proper depth, so I don't know. So there's 2, you can't probably see it, but 2 that are kind of normal, and then 2 that are like semi, and then a couple of them that aren't. But they grow quick. They grow 25 to 30 days, and you can eat the greens. So I don't mind if they mess up because I like the greens anyway. And then there's the lettuces and stuff like that. The cucumbers were all done. I got to restart them, just seeing if any of them are, they're like trying to regrow again, so I left them, but I don't know if they're going to do anything. I'll show you this. This is the first time I'm doing it. The ones that were whole work perfect. So these are big red onions, and they sprouted from the bottom, you know, from the top, and then roots. So I wet the roots, then I put them in the ground the next day, and they're growing for like a week and a half now, and I guess they're going to turn into flowers, and then I'll get the seeds from them. They're organic red onions. Over here is giant parsley. We're finally getting warm weather. It's May 10th. So they go out in the balcony and they come in at night until it starts to get warm out. Giant parsley. Here's some Campari tomatoes. Here are some grape tomatoes. I'm just showing you what's there. There's a lot of flowers and stuff everywhere, but some more tomatoes growing. And they're the first time I tried those tomatoes. The Romas I've been doing for like a year and a half. Then over here is red new potatoes, like medium to large. Hoping to get a dozen to 2 dozen. That's an organic red new potato. This is a Roma. That's a Roma. Down here is a large bell pepper. They'll go like these ones will go red. The minis will go orange and yellow and red. And just leftover cucumber again. And that was a half onion. And as you can see, they don't really do well as a half onion. People said they had success with it. I didn't. So over here, you can't see it, but behind the celery, I cut a basil. And I tried to see if it would grow roots because I tried it many times in the store and it never worked. But from my plant, it worked. And this is giant celery again. And you can cut that celery and eat it like the herbs. You just cut it at the base and one or two when you need it, and it will keep regrowing. So here's a story. They're going to see the next 2 racks are full, and I can't grow a lot of stuff that I want to because of this. So these are organic strawberries. They come as roots. I bought 6 of them. This setup is 15 months old, almost a year and a half now, November 21. And I started with 6, and now I got about 140, and they keep babying. So when you see vines like that and like that, they're babying plants, and that's what they look like when they flower. I just cut some last night, so here's some that are starting to fruit. Then they go from flower to that. You can see some over there. I don't have any red ones because I cut them. Oh, I have a little guy down here, down there. Most of them grow really good. And like I said, the whole room and the next shelf is going to be filled with them. And when I say 140 something of them, that includes all these babies that are starting to pop out. So yeah, I wanted to try to get lettuce, tomato, and everything constantly going, so I never have to buy it from the store. Save me a lot of money. But yeah, these strawberries are everywhere. So I just flipped it over. So this was the bottom. That was the top. So once the top got like that, I flipped it over. Now I'm putting it back on its side. Now it's starting to crisp up a little bit. Just wanted to show you that. And then down here, here's like some rosemary I cut a few times. And this is a pomegranate, edible bonsai pomegranate. More strawberries, flowers, some lilac. There's some mini bell peppers in the back. Tons of wild mint. The other room had wild mint as well. That when I say wild, it's from the mountains in the creek. So that's what that is. And then tons of strawberries. And tons of strawberries. So real quickly here. Everything is non-GMO organic seed. Even the flowers. The strawberries were roots. And like the wild mint was a plant, obviously. I grabbed one from the wild and potted it and it worked out. Had it for like 5 years. Let me think. So red bell peppers and both mini and large and all 3 different tomatoes were either organic and non-GMO or organic. Some of them were spoiled, some of them weren't. Bought them from the store, ate them, and seeded them, and been doing that over and over again. So you can do that. And I showed you the onion and the potatoes. I did the same. I sprouted potatoes and did them as well. So I'm on a 2nd floor, 2-bedroom apartment. You can do this. It's fun. It's simple. Adds a lot of color to your house. And like I said, you can do it in an apartment or you can do it in a bedroom, a basement, garage, a shed. I'll show you over here real briefly. So had that for 5 years. That's social garlic. It stems and flowers, and you could do the same thing and eat it. It's not as potent as garlic. I've never pulled up the bulbs. Actually, it hasn't flowered in the last 3 years. I think I had it for 5 years. But it's awesome raw or sauteed. And I also have a balcony out here, so I get a lot of sun out there too. So you can do this. These lights are GE Grow lights, and they're red and blue spectrum, but they're white light, and they're from seed to fruit, or I call it start to finish. And you can see the different maturities of things and how well they work. So that's awesome. And once you get it going, like herbs, I say in the other videos, you go to the store and buy fresh herbs or in a plastic or wrapped in rubber band, you're going to pay $2 to $4 for it. And depending on how many different herbs you use and how many times a month, that's, it might be $10-20 a month, $200-300 a year just in herbs if you start growing it yourself. And they last a long time. I had that basil for about a year or more, and it's finally putting out the flowers, and I just clipped it again tonight for dinner. And there's a baby one underneath there starting, and then the other one in the other room. So you can see how far you can go with these things. You can let the lettuces and the radishes seed too, which I've done, and you collect those seeds as well. Same thing with the plants. So I laid the cheese down. I'm going to let it crisp up on the bottom a little bit still before I put the cover on, start melting the cheese a little bit, or hopefully melting the cheese a little bit, and then putting the other stuff on. I want the other stuff more raw, so I'm going to probably throw that on right at the end without the cover. Alright, so non-GMO, organic, grow your own food if you can. Buy only what can be recycled. Alkalinity, raw, overcooked as much as you can. And here's some stuff I do as well. Garden of Life, vanilla, excellent. Chocolate, pretty decent. Vega 1 chocolate and mocha, excellent. Stay away from the vanilla, it's horrible. Chocolate mint is good. They're both vanilla. French and regular is so horrible. I had to throw a shake out that I made. I tried to mix it with other chocolate and stuff, and it still had this horrible, horrible taste to it. I don't know what it is. Their chocolate is excellent. Mocha is very good, and mint's real good. But the mint, if you buy the mint, I tried it. I just wanted to try it. You got to use just like a little bit and then fill it with chocolate because that's how powerful it is. I have my spearmint that I can use, and I have peppermint oil if I need to do peppermint. I just wanted to see what it was like, but you can buy it if you want. But this company here also makes a raw meal, which I got to start buying again. And Garden of Life over here, Raw Perfect, kind of is blah, like not really tasting like vegetables, but a little bit of a plant taste. But I mix it with this guy here, Amazing Grass Immunity, lemon lime. This is tangerine, the berry, and yeah, those three are really good. Lemon lime, tangerine, and berry. Watermelon's all right, and like I said, this one is raw from them, and it's a little bit different. But that's grasses and veggies and all that kind of stuff. Helps keep you alkaline over acidic, which is, you know, crystal clear like a pool, basically. So I wanted to share that. And this is not just protein. Again, they're all plant material. They're all vegan, non-GMO, organic. But this is all-in-one meal shakes as well. So loaded with tons of ingredients, vitamins, and minerals, not just plant protein. Now, these guys use a good amount of different material for their protein. Let me double check my cheese. It looks pretty good. These guys only use like pea protein, and I think, I can't really see it, but it might say flax. Where these guys, you can look it up online. Look at their protein blend at the top. There's like tons of it. So they're using all kinds of cool things like quinoa, buckwheat, different beans, pumpkin seeds, sunflower, sesame, flax, chia, millet, amaranth, pea, brown rice, a whole bunch of different things. So that's why I like that company better. They're a lot more clean ingredients and more ingredients. I don't know if I said it, but I eat one meal a day, and I usually have one, maybe two of these kind of drinks, and then one of those. And I also have, so tonight's pizza, this is going to be my raw stuff, my salad. It's got organic oranges on there as well, you know, like Brussels sprouts, mixed super greens, lettuce, cucumbers, avocado, tomato, and a little bit of pepper on there. And I love the orange in there. All right, so it melted. I tapped it down a little bit, or like that. And now I'm going to put the goodies on it. All right, that's fresh out of the stove, the pan. So I'm going to let it cool for a minute or two, see if I can take a bite out of that. But that's it. Looks pretty dang good. Every once in a while I like a white pizza. Alright, it's good. I'll do this a few times over regular pizza when I want. Good stuff. See if you can see the bread. And make it as thick as or thin as you want. And put whatever you want on it. But that's just a nice, simple, quick, easy thing. You can make, you know, flatbread sandwiches and just flatbreads of different kinds. I'm going to try to do a fold over one day with it. And I don't know, all kinds of stuff for soup, whatever you want. All right, lots of love to you. Bye-bye.